Welcome to the Shreveport Connector with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and Superstar spoilers. And as normal, give you some news. Former NXT star, real name of Derek Ford. His WWE name was Chad Baxter. He comments on who's interested in buying a copy of his WWE contract. Sharing is caring. Bombs away at WWE NXT. And that was at 3:27 p.m. on June 9, 2013. And he also said this contract includes authentic signatures from John Laurinaitis and Triple H, Paul Levesque, along with salary, wellness policy, etc. Hashtag WWE in this WWE. The hashtag WWE contract is better than a tell-all book about hashtag WWE. It shows how it exploits the wrestlers worse than a pimp. Bombs away, as it says, at 3:57 p.m. on June 9, 2013. So he's just trying to sell his contract. Okay. Richie Steamboat, the son of WWE Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, will be undergoing back surgery shortly under Dr. Joseph Maroon in Pittsburgh. The former FCW Tag Team Champion has been out of action for months with back problems. The injury was bad enough that there is a lot of concern whether he'll be able to continue to wrestle, reports the Wrestling Observer newsletter. With the surgery, it'll be months before he'll be back in action. Also, somebody else being out of action from ShineWrestling.com from the desk of Lexi Fife, VP of Talent Relations. I just got off of a very long and painful phone call with Jazz. Her doctor has informed her that she is indefinitely out of action due to her ongoing severe neck injuries. She was in low spirits and very upset that she is going to have to miss the biggest night for Shine so far. She has promised to do all the rehab that her doctor has suggested and stated that she will be back to claim what she says is rightfully hers. Everyone at Shine would like to take this opportunity to thank Jazz for all that she has done for the company and would like to wish her a complete and speedy recovery. In light of this and Allison Kay's suspension, Shine officials will be making a statement shortly regarding the status of the Shine Championship Tournament. Booker T update is he's having back surgery this week since it's been pushed back yet again. Former WWE wrestler Scotty Hottie can actually be called Hottie now because his real name is Scott Garland. He graduated from Lake Fire Academy in Florida earlier this month. According to TMZ.com, Story continues to wrestle. Scotty continues to wrestle on the indie scene. In case you didn't figure it out, Scotty is now a certified fireman, not an arsonist. There was a school for arsonists, but the students kept burning it down. Former ECW champion Justin Credible, a.k.a. Peter Polacco, and his family were robbed at gunpoint by 3 criminals. They told TMZ that he and his wife were sleeping in their Waterbury, Connecticut home when family members woke them up and told them that they were robbed. Justin's brother and parents were tied up and asked where the family safe was, while he and his wife slept in another room. Read more on the story at TMZ.com. Jason Powell exchanged emails with PJ about the situation on Thursday, and he said everyone was doing okay, though obviously shaken up by the ordeal. He told TMZ that the burglars took $5 from his father's wallet and his mother's cell phone. In other words, the guns they used in the robbery were worth more than they managed to steal. It's the perfect crime. Former WCW wrestler Mark Starr, a.k.a. Mark Ashford Simpson, reportedly died at the age of 50 this week. Details are sketchy regarding Starr's death at the time. He is the younger brother of Chris Champion, a.k.a. Christopher Ashford Simpson. Starr did some enhancement work for the WWF and also worked for several territories in the 80s. WWE announced tonight that Mark Henry will be returning to Raw on next week's show. Henry has been away since the strap match with Sheamus at Extreme Rules. WWE star Mark Henry took to Twitter to shoot down retirement rumors. The only reason I'm breaking my silence to the Twitter world is to tell you I'm not retiring. As Henry wrote, I have hate in my heart that's too dangerous. It's best to be away till I'm right. I feel in my heart someone or do damage to my family by going to jail. Tired of holding back. I will return when I'm healthy, not because the roster is thin. I am hurt. Don't hide on the web. You got my number. Call me. That's bullshit. Back to silence. Follow him online at twitter.com, the Mark Henry. I'm not sure where the retirement rumor started, but he did announce that he would be leaving wrestling in 2 years. Well, that was about 2 years ago. And he did make a related appearance at the Special Olympics event in Connecticut over the weekend. He is nursing an injury, and there's no word yet on the timetable for his return. Also, Diva News, Nikki Bella has been chosen as one of the celebrity judges for the 2013 Miss USA pageant. The event will be shown live on NBC Sunday, June 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from the Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Ms. Nikki told WWE.com, I am beyond excited. It's such an honor to be a part of the judges on Miss USA. I am going to be watching these girls closely. Dark main event match for Raw was advertised as John Cena versus Ryback for the WWE Championship. Happy birthday goes out to former Hall of Famer, The Sheik, Ed Farhat, was born June 8, 1924. He died January 18th, 2003. The longtime wrestler and promoter was inducted into Hall of Fame by his nephew Sabu and Rob Van Dam in 2007. Former WWE wrestler Tatanka celebrates his birthday. Real name Chris Chavis, turned 52 on Saturday. He was born June 8, 1961. Former UFC fighter and wrestler Dan Severn turned 55 on Saturday. He was born June 8, 1958. He announced his retirement from MMA competition January 1st. Anarchy Wrestling ran Friday night in Cornelia, Georgia, with the following results. Anarchy Tag Champions Washington Bullets defeated Jeremy Foster and Wade Adams. Bobby Moore defeated Billy Buck by disqualification to retain the Anarchy TV title. Jeter won an 8-man progressive turmoil match to earn an Anarchy title shot. Reall defeated Alexander James. Saviv over Reall. Shadow Jackson versus 7 ended in a draw to eliminate both men. Slim J defeated Jagged Edge. Jeter defeated Slim J. Jeter defeated Sean Tempers. Joey Reimer and BJ Hancock defeated Kevin Blue and Brandon Parker. Hot Commodity and the movement in a 4-way elimination match. Seth DeLay defeated Anthony Henry, Gunner, and Steve Walter over Alabama Attitude. The next television taping will be June 22nd, and Hostile Environment is June 29th. Pro Wrestling Unplugged will be in Morrison, Tennessee at Club Inferno on August 10th with the following lineup. Bill Dundee and Jimmy Valiant, Tag Team. Jerry Jarrett receives a Lifetime Achievement Award, and Bobby Eaton is also advertised. Unknown if he will be in action because he has recent illness. There are no pro wrestling shows for ESPN Classic tonight, and Hall of Famer Dusty Rhodes had to be hospitalized over the weekend due to an infection in his left foot. Well, apparently this is from a snake bite, as Dusty commented on the incident by Twitter, and you can follow him through the WWE Universe. He says, out with infection in his left foot, snake bite. Big E Langston was revealed to be the secret admirer of WWE Divas champion Caitlyn on tonight's Raw. Big E came out dressed up and with flowers in hand. This led to Big E dropping Caitlyn on the mat and revealing the whole thing to be a prank from AJ Lee. Heck, I was expecting it to be nothing more than a prank from the Bella twins. Well, AJ then came out and put Caitlyn down and announced that she will face Caitlyn for the Divas title at Sunday's pay-per-view. Hall of Famer JR updated his blog section of JR's Barbecue. Following items are among the highlights. To order JR's Barbecue products, visit WWEshop.com. Ross comments on the WWE tryout camp. This camp was primarily made up of amateur wrestlers that included several multi-time All-Americans and Commonwealth Games gold medalists, a Pan American Games gold medalist, and a couple of small college football players, and an active United States Navy SEAL. All in all, 15 men went through their paces over 2 days, with Friday and Saturday being broken up into two approximate 3-hour sessions each. This was the best conditioned group of athletes that they've ever tried out, and I'm fairly certain that WWE will offer multiple contracts to those that graded out the highest. I was hoping going in that we may be able to pick up 2 or so signees out of the 15 attending, but that number could easily be doubled. Don't worry, indie fans. The recent WWE tryout camp was held that featured a number of notable independent talents. WWE is wise to take the best from both worlds. Ross also noted that the new target date for WWE Performance Center opening is mid-July, and they are also looking for a manager. And Ross comments on the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt and family were on the road for WWE this weekend, and we're getting some positive and appropriate reactions. The series of Wyatt family vignettes is working. The correspondent wrote that Wyatt received no reaction at the Lakeland event on Saturday. Even so, WWE viewers have only watched 2 vignettes thus far. I have no doubt that the act will get over, assuming that there's not a radical shift away from the Wyatt family characters in NXT. And I actually seen the vignette on there, and it's like a Cajun cowboy type of thing to me. Other topics included more on the WWE tryout camp, indie promotions that don't pay talent, such as TE Wrestling, Texas Elite Wrestling. Okay. And they shipped JR spoken words, even events in the UK. NXT wrestler Conor O'Brien, aka Ryan Tarmater, was married to his longtime girlfriend Kristen Eubanks on June the 6th in Clearwater, Florida, thanks to .NET reader Daniel Lark. And Eubanks worked as Kristen Estera and Christy Vane. She has also worked for HSN, aka Home Shopping Network. O'Brien's Wikipedia page notes that he began dating Eubanks in 2006. Congratulations to the happy couple. Fandango missed this weekend's live events with a concussion that he suffered at the SmackDown taping on last Tuesday. He passed his impact test, according to WWE website, yet has not passed further testing for clearances. Read more on the story at WWE.com, and WWE is playing up the possibility that Fandango may not be able to work the triple threat match, as they announced on Raw tonight for the Intercontinental title, and has changed. And you get more details on Raw. The death of Nancy Argentino, then girlfriend of WWE star Jimmy Superfly Snuka, was chronicled 30 years later by the Morning Call. Argentino died of brain injuries at the age of 23 on May 11, 1983. Snuka told detectives in his official interview that Argentino slipped on the side of the highway. However, Snuka told the police officer and 4 hospital employees before the interview that he shoved Argentino and she struck her head. I feel like the police didn't take it as far as they should have, said Argentino's older sister, Lorraine Salome. The whole thing for our family is still up in the air. We still walk around wondering, what the hell? The case remains open 30 years later. Read the full story at mccall.com/news/MC-jimmy-snooka-poll-case-201-306-08, 0, 3801-215, full dot story. Despite Snuka's roadside story, the autopsy results showed no sign of gravel or similar dirt particles on Argentino's head or scalp. She also had more than 24 cuts and contusions on her head, ear, chin, arms, hands, back, neck, buttocks, legs, feet. Snuka continues to deny any wrongdoing and claimed in his autobiography that the accusations that stemmed from Argentino's life ruined his life. The fascinating story also includes details about Vincent Kennedy McMahon accompanying Snuka during the police interview. A highly recommended read. And the author Irvin Nick published a 30th anniversary ebook about the death of Nancy Argentino. For more information, visit concussioninc.net /P=7681. All proceeds are donated to my sister's Place Women's Shelter in Westchester County, New York, a charity selected by the Argentino family. WWE Superstars from Richmond, Virginia. Spoiler. Titus O'Neil with Darren Young defeated Brodus Clay with Tensai, or Sweet Tea. Heath Slater defeated Zack Ryder. And Raw, airing from Richmond, Virginia at the Richmond Coliseum. Raw opens with a recap of Triple H's balls and Stephanie McMahon's purse storyline and his issues with Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Michael Coleslaw welcomes viewers to Raw. Coleslaw was joined in the commentary by JBL and Jerry the King Lawler. Triple H's music played, and he headed to the ring in his gear. Justin Roberts introduced Hunter for his advertised match against Curtis Axel. Coleslaw said that the McMahon family did not want Triple H to compete in this match. JBL said Triple H is a current man agent and has been medically cleared. Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman made their entrance for the match. Supposedly we get Triple H versus Kurt Axel with Paul Heyman. Hunter went right at Axel and fired punches at him in the corner. Triple H followed with a suplex and went for a quick cover, but Axel kicked out at 2. Mr. McMahon's music played. No chance. That's what you got. And headed to ringside. The match continued in the ring. Hunter applied a headlock and watched as Vince made his entrance. Triple H ended up throwing Axel to ringside. Vince walked over to the timekeeper and called for the bell and told Justin Roberts to ring the bell and gave him the ruling. Roberts announced that Axel won by disqualification and the fans booed. Heyman gloated in the corner with a smiling asshole. After Vince headed backstage, Triple H told Roberts to restart the match. The bell rang to restart the match. Vince came back at 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Original match start time and headed over to the timekeeper again. The fans yelled, "You suck it, Vince." Vince once again called for the bell and had Roberts announce that Axel won the match as a result of a forfeit. Vince started heading for the backstage, and Hunter once again went back to Roberts and ordered him to stand up and restart the match as a 60-minute Iron Man match. Triple H rang the bell to start the match. Vince headed back down the ringside. Before the wrestlers could do anything, Vince told Axel he already won the match twice and then ordered him to leave the ring. Vince took the ring announcer's mic and the ring bell. Vince's music played while Hunter seized it in the ring. So Curtis Axel won a 2 out of 3 falls match. Count out and forfeit. At ringside, Lawler said he's never seen anything like this ever happen in all the years he's been on Raw. JBL said the McMahon family is the nuttiest family in the world. Coleslaw hyped John Cena and Ryback going face-to-face on Raw. Caitlin Meyer and Dean Ambrose versus Kane for after the break. Good start for the show. Axel didn't really gain anything from this aside from bragging rights that he had beat Hunter twice in one night. However, Vince had some serious heat for stopping the match twice, and the fans really wanted to see it continue. I assume that this will lead to a payback match on Sunday with some agreement that they will actually have a real match. Here's hoping Heyman and Axel get plenty of time tonight to take some of Vince's heat for themselves. And graphic counter that WWE has over 100 million on Facebook fans, more than NFL and MLB teams combined. Then we get a backstage segment with Stephanie McMahon begging Triple H not to hurt Vince. He's not getting any younger, he said. Steph told him to think about being in the pool yesterday and squirting them with a hose. Hunter calmed down and told her to go talk to Vince because he wouldn't like it if he said what he had to say to him. Wait, are they setting up Triple H versus Vince for payback on Father's Day? That would be interesting. Match number 1, U.S. Champion Dean Ambrose versus Kane in a non-title match. Highlights there from the Kane and Daniel Bryan bickering on Miz TV from SmackDown. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns walked out in the lower bowl with Ambrose, but then headed to wherever they go in the concourse while he went to the ring. And there was no bell to start the match since Vince took it. It reminded me of most of TNA matches. The referee motions for the start of the match and I can't hear the bell. It probably has as much to do with my poor hearing than TNA's poor miking of the bell. Either way, welcome to my world. And also WWE Universe on YouTube. But they have no, we just go ding, ding. During the match, one of the referees returned the ring bell to ringside. Kane and Ambrose fought to ringside. Ambrose leapt off the steps and right into an uppercut from Kane. Ambrose was lying at ringside and headed into the break. Ambrose applied a leg lock after the break, and Kane broke free and caught Ambrose on the ropes by the throat. Ambrose fought free, but Kane came back and flung him to the mat. Later, Kane was setting up a clothesline while the other Shield members ran in for disqualification. Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan ran out to make the save. Kane defeated Ambrose by disqualification in a non-title match. And everybody knows if it was a title match, the champion remained the champion by disqualification. Coleslaw hype Sheamus versus Damon Sandow as the payback kickoff match. Being pre-show, Coleslaw said that told viewers that they could vote on whether Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns would face Daniel Bryan later in the show. Lawler said that the person who gets the least votes faces Randy Orton instead. As they go to commercial. I didn't even hear that at all. The Kane and Ambrose match was slow at times and unforgettable, very forgettable overall. The app voting should be interesting. Lord knows that the hardcore wrestling fans want to see Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins, but there's no telling what the casual viewers want to see. There's certainly no sign of Orton being a heel following the RKO he gave Bryan on Friday. Multiple correspondents who attended the show felt it was a heel turn, but it looked like it was a receipt for Daniel Bryan accidentally catching him with a running drop kick during the match. When I watched it on television myself, it doesn't mean Orton won't turn heel, but he's clearly not a heel right now. And the King stood in the ring to read the results of the app vote. 60% of the voters picked Seth Rollins as the opponent for Daniel Bryan, while the loser gets picked Roman Reigns. So we get Bryan facing Rollins and Reigns facing Orton for later in the show. Coleslaw said it would be the first singles matchup between Bryan and Rollins. That's wrong because they have faced many times in Ring of Honor, but under their other names. Now let's recap the SmackDown footage of the main event tag match, including Bryan drop kicking Orton, and Coleslaw saying that he didn't think Orton thought Bryan drop kicking him was an accident, so he gave him the RKO. Backstage center, Bryan complained that the RKO was intentional. Orton said it was pointed to the drop kick. Kane got into Brian's face and told him to back off. Kane said that they have matches against Shield members, and the last thing that they need to do is fight each other. They kept bickering. Miss Piggy Guerrero showed up. Excuse me. And booked Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton for the tag titles at Payback. Kane accepted his act as done. Vicky explained that they won the match by disqualification and deserved a title match. Vicky announced that Kane would challenge Dean Ambrose for the title. But that was after a moment that she left, and he left. He was left talking to himself, and she comes back. Oh, I haven't forgot about you. Well, after that, a funny segment. After Vicky announced that Kane would be facing Dean Ambrose for the U.S. title at the pay-per-view. And Kane says he always liked Vicky and then gave her a hug. As The Miz makes his entrance, Cole Ortiz breaking news regarding the Intercontinental title match at Payback for after the break. Cole announced that Fandango has been pulled from the Intercontinental title match at Payback due to a concussion. The match has been changed to a singles match with Wade Barrett defending against Miz. Momentarily, Miz versus Cody Rhodes is in action. Barrett sat in on commentary for the match and applauded Fandango for being pulled from the match. He said he didn't deserve the title match in the first place. Miz won the match with a figure 4 in 2 minutes 35 seconds. Well, Paul Heyman walked out after the match and announced that Vicky Guerrero has ruled that there will be a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. Axel came out and said that the perfect ending to the match on Sunday will be him becoming the new Intercontinental champion. An interesting switch. It tells me that Axel isn't headed straight to the main event picture, but he could get a run with the IC strap, as his dad did first. I assume that they were going to put the title on Fandango, so perhaps they will go with Axel instead, since it's a concussion. Let's face it. He either wins the match or he doesn't factor into the finish. I'd be shocked if he was pinned or submitted on Sunday. Does this mean that you really are going with the Triple H versus Vince McMahon match on Father's Day? Don't think so. I'd like to do something on SmackDown. The card is filling up fast, and there's only so many matches that they can have, with the WWE Championship expected to go longer than usual due to 3 states of hell format. Also, I set up a video that advertised the return of Mark Henry for next week's Raw show. Wait, I thought he was retiring. I'm kidding. No angry Twitter rant needed. Mark, for those who missed it, Henry wrote that he's injured and is not retiring despite apparent reports from somewhere to the contrary. A recap airing of the opening segment of Triple H, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon shenanigans. Backstage, Stephanie told her father that she knows he is trying to protect Hunter, but he has to respect he is a proud man, of a man he is. Vince said Hunter made Stephanie cry. Stephanie said Vince made her cry. Vince said business comes first, and you do the right thing for business every single time. Steph asked if she could talk to him. Vince said he wouldn't like what he said or how he said it, and noted that's just how Hunter said it. This was greeted by the sound of critics. The angle worked earlier, but the live crowd didn't have much of a response there, so I guess they must not have seen it. Crying Stephanie is more annoying than sympathetic after she was a heel last week. I don't think that's by design, because she's playing the voice of reason tonight. Y2J came to the ring for a promo and welcomed viewers to Raw is Jericho. He mentioned some of the big names he's faced on Raw over the years. He said that the man who takes him to the limit more than any other and makes him a better performer is CM Punk, and chat started for Punk. Jericho said that you could say what you want about Punk's attitude or opinions, but the reason he's good is that he's actually believes he's the best in the world. Jericho said it's the same as him believing that he's the best in the world at what he does. Jericho then said they came into the business the same way and have the same chip on the shoulder, and they expect nothing more than the best. Jericho promised that Punk will get his best. You will get my best because I need to beat you, CM Punk, as Jericho said. I have to beat you at Payback. No matter what happens at Payback, Neither one of us will ever be the same. Jericho was then interrupted by Dolph Ziggler's music. Ziggler headed onto the stage with Big E Langston and AJ Lee. Dolph said he heard Jericho talking about the best in the world, and so he thought that would be the right time to make his return to Raw. Ziggler said that the title was nearly taken away from him before the nameplate even went on the title. Ziggler mentioned his match against Alberto Del Rio at Payback. Jericho cut him off and said that Sunday is a long time away. Jericho challenged Ziggler to a tune-up match against him to knock off some ring rust. Ziggler agreed to the match, but then added it would be against Big E Langston. I'll be at Payback, Ziggler said. Get him, Big E. As Langston headed to the ring, they cut for a commercial. More forgettable hype for Jericho versus Punk. Jericho's mic work was fine, but I really thought that WWE would make a bigger fuss over Punk's return to the ring than they have. Meanwhile, the live crowd wasn't all that fired up to see Ziggler's return. I thought he might be getting a babyface reaction, but the crowd acted like his return was nothing special. I guess this means Ziggler versus Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship is official for Payback. Match number 4, Y2J versus Big E Langston with Dolph and AJ. The match was joined already in progress with Langston getting the better of him, of a limping Jericho at ringside. He was selling a injury because he went off the top rope and landed on his feet with one bag leg, and Langston hit a couple of backbreakers for a near fall. Jericho came back with a cross-body block off the top rope. Ziggler climbed on the ring apron and distracted Jericho, giving Langston a chance to hit Jericho from behind. Langston set up for his finisher, but Alberto Del Rio came out and took a shot at Ziggler, and Langston turned his attention to Ziggler and Del Rio. Jericho used the distraction to hit the code breaker on Langston for the win. After the match, Coleslaw spoke about the World Heavyweight Championship for Payback. Ziggler versus Del Rio is official. Ziggler sat on the floor at ringside holding his head from the Del Rio shot. Ziggler and Del Rio jawed at one another. Jericho played around with the announcers. Lawler hyped Orton versus Reigns and Bryan versus Rollins for later in the show. Jericho was really playful after the match. It's worth noting that they did talk about how badly he feels, that he needs to beat Punk. Does he need to beat him so badly that he could join Paul Heyman in screwing over Punk in Chicago? I threw out my bold prediction of a double turn for Punk and Jericho in audio last week. Nothing I've seen so far tonight has changed my mind. Match number 5, Antonio Cesaro versus Sin Cara. Zeb Colter standing in the commentary and complained about Sin Cara wearing a mask and being illegal. He said Sin Cara snuck across the border illegally in the middle of the night, whereas Cesaro entered the company legally by going through the proper channels. Colter also vented about T-Mobile phone services. In the ring, Sin Cara had a flashy run of offense and got a 2 count on Cesaro. However, Cesaro got Sin Cara as he was coming off the ropes to perform the backbreaker. He followed up moments later with a neutralizer for the clean pin. And Colter said he's impressed by Cesaro because he does things the right way. And Cesaro won in a 3 minute 5 seconds. Sin Cara looked good, but when he was on the offense, and the story of the match was Colter suddenly singing praises of Cesaro. Could this be his new faction? Adding to it. He even applauded him afterwards. There's obvious questions whether Cesaro and Colter are about to be paired and how that affects Jack Swagger. Then we get the Wyatt family videos. Get ready, boys, they're coming, as JBL told Coleslaw after the video and Lawler regarding the Wyatt family. Coleslaw and Lawler hyped Cena and Ryback segment. Total Divas commercial aired. And they did film a new video this week with John Cena and Nikki, I think it was Nikki Bella, holding hands. Backstage, Vicky Guerrero ate at Carl's Jr. Well, they were just backstage. They ate at Carl's Jr. and Hardy's Burger. Well, Vicky ate one of them. She would not allow Brad Maddox to eat the other one, but he was wanting it. He said it was her duty to eat the 3 that she had because she's the acting general manager. Well, there goes her diet. Vince entered her picture and told her to chew and swallow. He explained about John Cena and Ryback going face to face because one of them could hurt and place the pay-per-view in jeopardy. Vicky said she thought it would be great TV. Vince said it might be great TV, but she can't do that. Vince said she could cancel it. Vince said she already announced it, couldn't announce it, and couldn't do that. Now that's funny. Maddie said that they could have all the lumberjacks for their match come out and keep them apart. And Randy Orton makes his entrance for his match, and Bryan comes out shortly after. Highlights here to the SmackDown main event for Friday. Coleslaw said Orton would be in action after the break. Randy Orton with Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns with Seth Rollins, and Orton and Reigns threw a lot of punches and kicked. Orton stood on the ropes and punched Reigns 10 times while the crowd chanted along. Reigns caught Orton with a punch that knocked him from the second rope to the floor, heading into a commercial break. After the break, Orton performed some of his signature offense, including the Hangman's DDT from the second rope. And Orton woke up the previously quiet crowd with a move and playing to them before setting up for his finisher. Rollins attacked Bryan on the floor, then prevented Orton from performing the RKO. Bryan recovered and performed a suicide dive onto both heels, and the crowd erupted with a big yes, orgasm chant. Roberts announced it was a no contest and the crowd booed. Randy Orton fought Roman Reigns to a no contest at 11 minutes 55 seconds. The match immediately starts. Next up, we got Daniel Bryan with Randy Orton with Seth Rollins versus Seth Rollins with Roman Reigns, and they went right into the match. And Bryan was on offense early on, performed a series of elbows, drawing accompanying orgasm chants from the crowd. Bryan went for the surfboard, but Rollins countered, reached for the ropes. Bryan still jumped up and drove his feet onto the back of Rollins' legs. And yeah, Rollins actually put Daniel Bryan in the same move. Bryan knocked Rollins to the ringside with a kick, and followed up with a running knee. Bryan continued his assault back in the ring, and Lawler questioned whether Rollins had a single offensive move. Yeah, Rollins did come by tripping up Bryan and driving him face first into the second turnbuckle at 3 minutes 30 seconds in. Rollins sets up for the surfboard, like I was just telling you, and slapped the back of Bryan's head a few times. Rollins put Bryan in the surfboard, but Bryan freed his arms and sat up and escaped the hold. Bryan caught Rollins with a few kicks and then applied surfboard of his own and grabbed Rollins by the chin and wrenched him back. Rollins broke free with a punch heading into a break. After the break, there was a good sequence with Bryan going for a spinning kick. It looked like he missed, but then it became obvious that it was by design, as the idea was that Bryan avoided it and applied a hold as a counter. Bryan followed up with a big drop kick as Rollins was seated in the corner and got a 2 count. Bryan fired away with the kick but missed the last one. Rollins ducked it and caught Bryan with a kick of his own. Later in the match, Rollins hits a buckle bomb on Bryan for another 2 count. Bryan backdropped Rollins to the ringside and then went for a suicide dive, but Rollins was waiting with a shot. Rollins went to the top rope for a move, but Bryan avoided it. He tried to roll up Rollins, but Rollins rolled through. Bryan caught him with a big kick for a 2 count. Bryan had a bloody lip. Bryan went to the top rope, but Rollins cut him off. Bryan slipped between his legs and crotched Rollins on the top rope. Bryan went for a side suplex on Bryan. On Rollins, but Rollins shifted on top of Bryan. A small "This is awesome" chant broke out. Reigns climbed onto the ring apron for a distraction, but Orton tripped him up and took him down. Bryan caught Rollins in a small package and got the clean win. After the match, Bryan kicked Rollins and Orton performed the RKO on him. Orton's music played, and after the match, while Borgas's chant broke out, Daniel won the match in 15 minutes 45 seconds. A very good match. I wasn't a fan of the early call, though as Cole couldn't wait to tell us how great it was, even when it was just getting started. The crowd was into the match, but we've heard hotter crowds for Brian's matches lately. Still, though, it wasn't entertaining. It was very entertaining, and I'm sure we'll be seeing that matchup many more times in the near future. A recap of the McMahon family drama. Announcers hyping Cena and Ryback face-to-face confrontation. Caitlyn checked herself out in the mirror as she prepared to meet her secret admirer. This is where I fell asleep. It goes off during my DVR playing of it. Footage aired of Big Show, Sergeant Slaughter, the Bella Twins, and Mark Henry appearing at a Special Olympic event. Caitlyn stood in the ring and said, "Well, secret admirer, here I am. I feel really silly." Biggie Langston's music played, and he headed out wearing street clothes while carrying a bouquet of flowers. "Big E, it's you," Caitlyn said once he arrived in the ring. Well, part of her hair is blonde. Langston said it's hard for him. He said people see him as a big, bad, tough guy or Dolph Heavy. He said people think he only cares about beating up people. I care more about that. He said, I care about you. He said he knows he's skeptical, and she should be, but she's all he could think of ever since he met her, and he didn't know how to tell her until now. Langston moved in for the kiss. He whipped her head back and slowly leaned in, then dropped her. Langston smiled. "Kids, don't try this at home. Biggie Langston is a trained professional when it comes to minor assault." AJ Lee's music played, and she skips to the ring. She asked Caitlyn how it feels and compared it to how she felt when Caitlyn abandoned her. Caitlyn stood up and said, "AJ is crazy." Lee said she's smart. And she said Caitlyn might be able to beat her in the ring, but she can beat her in mind games. She said Caitlyn is weak, pitiful, and trash. Lee said that Caitlyn has no friends, and the people don't give a damn about her, as the fans booed. She said the only thing Caitlyn has left in it is the Diva Championship, and come Sunday she won't even have that. As AJ said, Caitlyn's story will end with her losing and returning to whatever trailer park she crawled out from under in the first place, as AJ called her an unlovable cow. Caitlyn then punched AJ and then dove onto her and threw repeated punches while trying to keep her skirt from riding up. As AJ rolled out of the ring and laughed maniacally, Caitlyn went back to looking sad while AJ skips to the back. Then another Wyatt family vignette aired. I did not see this one. I can't even imagine what Caitlyn's Twitter comments look like right now, as Lonely Online versions profess their undying devotion to her. I guess this means we can add yet another match to the Payback lineup based on AJ saying she'll take the title on Sunday. As for the Wyatt video, it was creepy and downright disturbing. Highlights aired from SmackDown. Damon Sandow actually getting the better of Sheamus for once. Match number 8, Sheamus versus R-Truth. The match was already in progress and was presented by a fast food chain. Yes, really, Sandow cut a promo before the ring to hype this Payback kickoff match against Sheamus. Sandow aggressively beat up R-Truth and pulled the ring skirting over his head. Truth made a one-punch comeback, then Sandow came back with offense and applied a chin lock. Truth caught Sandow with a kick and a couple of clotheslines and a hurricane rana the front suplex for a 2 count. Sandow came back with a silencer for the win. And the match only took 3 minutes 20 seconds. After the match, Sheamus made his entrance and cut a promo from the stage. He said he was there to congratulate him. Sheamus said, "What better way to kick off the night in the Windy City than with him kicking off Sandow's head. Backstage segment. Stephanie McMahon telling a crew member to go find Vince McMahon. She told the man to tell Vince that his daughter was looking for him, and it was about business. It was urgent, and to meet him in their office. She found another crew member and relayed the same exact message, only this time to tell him to find Triple H. A Payback commercial focused on CM Punk versus Y2J. Cole's all noted that Kofi Kingston had surgery on both elbows and will be out 8 weeks. Ryback video showcased his recent destruction. Miss Pinky Guerrero and Brad Maddox headed to ring and were followed by a slew of additional wrestlers. This is where I woke up from my little nap. Yeah, I even seen William Regal coming out. So I guess he must have had some type of... And he was wearing his ring gear. So he must have had some type of match. That was not even said. Must be something else. Could be Saturday Morning Slam, because they don't post the results for that anymore. A lot of questions about how many lumberjacks there were. And I think Cena said there were 30 guys out there. Backstage, Vince and Stephanie were talking about Triple H. When Triple H were talking when Triple H arrived, they begged her to tell Stephanie, they told them both to work it out because she is sick and tired of it. Hunter said that he's not going to apologize to Vince. Vince said he's not going to apologize to him because he doesn't do that. Vince told Hunter he's bigger than Curtis Axel and doesn't need that match. He said that the kid is good, but Hunter is bigger than that. As it goes past the 3-hour mark, Vince tells Hunter that he's an icon and a legend. He said that he wants him to be more than that. I want you to be the man. As Vince said, I want you to sit behind the desk with a pencil with the eraser. By God, you telling people to go to hell when they need to go to hell? You do the right thing every time. That's what I want you for. That's what I want from you. It's bigger than a match with Curtis Axel. You get that? I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm a giver. That's what I do. What's he trying to do? Be Mark Henry? Hunter said that he finally gets it. But he's still not apologizing. Vince said Hunter could have his match with Curtis Axel next week. Triple H said that on second thought, Vince is right. He doesn't want the match with Axel. Vince said that on the second thought, he would like to see the match. Hunter didn't want it. Now Vince wanted it. They bickered. Stephanie showed up again and called for a group hug or family hug. Vince said he doesn't hug other men. She told Vince to hug her. And he said he would. Hunter took offense, saying Vince would hug her, but not him. They all hugged, and Vince and Hunter exchanged hard slaps on the back. Stephanie smiled lovingly at Hunter. Don't give me that, whatever, Hunter said. They cut to a shot at ringside of the Lumberjacks, and the first one shown was Kane, who looked like he was trying not to smile after watching the McMahons do their version of their routine with Daniel Bryan. John Cena makes his entrance. He looked on into the camera and said, "Payback is coming," then headed to the ring. The ambulance siren sounded, and Ryback emerged from the back of the ambulance and stood on the stage. Cena looked to Vicky at ringside and said, "Face to face." He said sometimes they use big words in WWE. He said face to face means Ryback comes to the ring and faces him. Ryback mocked the idea of being afraid of Cena, who cut him off. He noted that the role of the Lumberjack on Sunday is to make sure Ryback doesn't stand on the stage afraid to face him. Ryback said he could tear through all the Lumberjacks and everyone in the audience. Ryback said he was standing on the stage for Cena's benefit, not his own. Cena said this is one of those times when Ryback stands over there and sends him a message. He said Ryback has been doing a lot of that lately. Cena recalled being put through the stage and said it was very impressive and painful. He said he gets that message. Cena started to say Ryback doesn't deserve to be WWE champion. Ryback cut him off and said, "You're damn right he does." He said he has had his fingers on the WWE championship at TLC, but the lights went out and the Shield prevented him from winning. He also spoke about the Hell in a Cell. Cena pointed out that he gave Ryback that match. Ryback said he became a threat to Cena, who then went into damage control. Ryback said that Cena had his back when it suited him, but Cena left him high and dry. He fired up Cena, asked if he wanted him to change his diaper. Cena yelled at Ryback to shut up. He said he's never had a guardian angel watch his back, and neither has any man who was good enough to hold the WWE Championship. Cena said Ryback has a conspiracy theory and excuses. Cena says he's willing to walk through hell and will walk about saying the champ is him. Ryback said it, his eyes are wide open and he can see Cena. I can see you, he said. You're full of crap, John. Ryback said Cena has lost his mind and if he thinks he will back down from him on Sunday. He said the legend of Cena will end and when he beats him in a lumberjack match, puts him through a table and then loads him on in an ambulance and becomes WWE champion, Ryback said. Cena gave him his spot 8 months ago. On Sunday, he will take his spot. Cena threw his hat to the crowd and strip the shirt off. Cena said, Sunday, that payback will be a bitch for both of them. Cena tried to go after Ryback, but the lumberjack stopped him a couple times. Ryback ran to ringside. They ended up in the ring together, and the lumberjacks pulled them apart, and there was no brawl to close. They had to pull them apart to close the show. And the dark match main event results, thanks to Benjamin Tucker, PW Torch correspondent, to read Tucker's live tweets from the building at B. Tucker Torch. After all off the air, WWE set up the bonus dark match of John Cena versus Ryback, and John Cena champion defeated Ryback in a tables match to retain the WWE title. Cena won in about 2-minute match. The finish was Ryback reversing attitude adjustment into his finisher. But Cena reversed him into an attitude adjustment through a table, and that was it. Thanks for viewing. Peace out.